Beautiful. That looks great.
All right, so nice to meet you. Yeah, we spoke on the phone. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a year. It's a long line.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Good morning, let's pray. Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help us as we gather together. We pray for your guidance in the matters at hand, and we ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Father, give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that we would challenge each other to reach higher and farther to be the best we can be. All these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Could you lead the pledge?
I'll gladly lead the pledge.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So that'll be a fine for Mr. Williamson when we see him next week, because he was supposed to be our pledge leader. So thank you for standing. $2. Okay, yeah. So good morning again. So on your table, you'll see a flyer from Susan West about an opportunity to stop by State Savings Bank. What it is, there's a competition within the district to decorate a pumpkin, and the winner gets $250. And Susan agreed to donate that to Socktober if we win the prize. So please stop by. I plan to do that after the meeting. Speaking of Socktober, Wolf?
Good morning, everybody. Just a reminder that, Socktober is going on. That's a collection of socks for homeless shelters in our area. We're donating to the Salvation Army, and this goes on through the end of October. So bring your socks next week or the week after, and that'll be the final collection. Thank you.
Thank you. Other announcements? Yes.
Please save the dates, first two Saturdays of December, the 7th and the 14th for regimental bell ringing. Just block it out in your calendar, one or the other, and we'll get the sign up out to the club internet in a few weeks. But December 7th and 14th.
Bruce, when's training?
Training is before that.
So mine that works too.
Two quick social engagements. One is this coming Tuesday at Cafe Istanbul. You would have an invite from Luke Thomas. If you haven't registered, you're not registered, you can still do that. We've got 25 people registered. Sanan is friends with the owner. They're gonna have a nice space reserved for us. It looks like the weather's gonna be great. So please join that if you can. And then just to save the date, we're gonna do a watch party for OSU at Northwestern. We don't know when the game time is, so we will send you an email to remind you to save that date, but then we will send an actual invite when we know what the game time is, and we've got space reserved at one of the new places in Shawnee Hills, Mommy Bay, something maybe. So Michael Darling has space reserved for us there, so it'll be a game that you don't have to pay much attention to. but it's at Wrigley Field, so it's kind of fun and good opportunity for fellowship.
Let's take a trip up.
Was it?
Thank you, Mike. Any other announcements? All right, because we have such a special program today, we're going to invite our sergeant to come up. David?
Good morning. We've got a couple guests on the list, but unfortunately I cannot read these names. So if you have a guest with you and you'd like to stand up and introduce them. Wolf,
I'll start. We have Deepa Biswas and her daughter Anju, who are Mohan's family.
welcome. And I can't read this other one. Is there any other guests here? Okay. Well, if you are, welcome to our meeting. Today we have a small pot of $20 and a large pot of $199. And you'll be drawing for the Queen of Hearts. Yes.
Dave, I forgot to introduce our most esteemed guest, Deepa Willingham, who is a past district governor, and she's joining us via Zoom. So thank you, Deepa.
Welcome, Deepa. All right. Dean, I've pre-shuffled these.
And I didn't buy a ticket, so I can. Last for 3221.
3, 2, 2, 1.
All
All
right,
right, do you want small pot or large pot? Okay. I'm gonna draw for small pot.
3169. 3169.
Ah, Ingrid.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Dean.
All right, thank you, David. Wolf, Ingrid, I'm just gonna turn it over to you to announce the program.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for attending. First of all, I wanted to talk about Mohan Viddam. Mohan was a longtime member of the Dublin AM Rotary Club and will be remembered, and he was also honored to be Rotarian of the Year. So those who knew him will remember his gentle spirit, jovial attitude, and his dedication to making the world a better place. Mohan passed away on January 2nd, 2021 due to complications from COVID, but he'll be remembered by all who knew him for what he gave back. We're honored today to have the presence of his wife Geeta and his daughter Anjana, better known as Anju, who are joining us here today. Unfortunately, Mohan's other daughter, Magana, could not be with us today. So I'm going to start some slides here, if you give me 1 second.
I can interrupt for 1 second.
Yes, sir.
I'm so sorry, I forgot the fines.
Oh.
Very important to collect these fines if you are not wearing your pin and your badge, $1. Thank you.
Okay, this picture is of Mohan. Many of you remember him. Some newer members may not. But this is a picture of Mohan ringing the Salvation Army bell and collecting donations for the Salvation Army. These are some pictures of Mohan at our annual Christmas party with David. You may remember him from about a minute ago. Some more pictures with Susan and Claudia and Mohan and I. And this is Mohan with discussing one of his projects with our past district governor, Tara Crayback. Mohan was very instrumental in doing projects, and this is a picture of Mohan in India working with local villagers on a water backpack project. If you remember, the backpacks were used to collect water at the local wells and then bring back to their homes. This is a group of them getting instructions on how to use the backpacks. And this is a picture of them carrying the backpacks. You'll see them on their backs with the Rotary symbol, going to the local well. And you can see that she is scooping water out of the well to fill up the backpack so that she can carry that home. And then this is Mohan receiving a plaque from the local mayor, I guess. Mohan would travel back and forth to his homeland in India at least once or twice a year to visit with his parents and other family members, and he always made time for a service project or two while he was there. He recruited a number of friends to help finance the construction of water treatment plants in rural sections of India to help provide them with clean water to drink. This is an example of someone sliding a debit card on the left to pay a few cents for a jug of water. And they would charge for the water a few cents just to pay for the maintenance of the water treatment plant. There's also a picture to the right of the dedication plant that was installed there, the plaque that was installed there in his memory on the outside wall of the plant. After he facilitated the construction of about a dozen of these plants, he pulled me aside at one Rotary meeting and said, "We need to schedule a beer summit." I said, "Mohan, what's a beer summit?" He said, "Well, you know, when world leaders get together, they have a summit meeting. And so we're going to have a summit meeting, but instead of serving champagne, we're going to have beer." And I said, "Okay, we'll get together." So I agreed to meet with him, and at our beer summit, he recruited me to help him do a global grant to pay for the more water treatment plants. Basically, it's in a way that we could triple the money collected, and we were planning to do about 7 or 8 water treatment plants then. We worked on this grant for a couple of years, and the requirements for a global grant are numerous, but unfortunately, Mohan passed away before the grant was approved. We were 95% of the way there, and after his death, our Dublin AM Rotary Group and the Cantonment Secunderabad Rotary Club completed the grant request and submitted it for approval. When our grant went to district approval in India, the district grant chair in India said that the treatment plants were not going to be needed much longer because the state was already installing them in most of the rural areas that we were targeting. So after all our efforts over 3 or 4 years, our project was dead. So now the question was what to do with the $22,000 or so that Mohan and his friends and our club contributed to this project. I contacted the family and met with Anju, and I suggested that we might have another project that involved a girls' school in rural India. And would that be something that Mohan would have approved of? Anju said that Mohan was very pro-educational. As you know, before he started his IT company, he was a professor. And that this project would be one that he would have loved. So next, I'd like to introduce past District Governor Deepa Biswas Willingham to tell us about the next chapter of the story. And I have her bio here. Deepa Biswas, who resides in Solvang, California, is a naturalized citizen of the United States and was born and raised in Calcutta, India. She obtained her primary, secondary, and undergraduate education in Calcutta and graduate degrees in the US. Mother Teresa was actually one of her elementary school teachers. Prior to her entrepreneurial endeavors in the energy sector, she served as administrative director of ancillary services in the hospital industry. Deepa is an active Rotarian and served as the district governor for Rotary District 5240 in 2010 and 2011. She's the past president of the Rotary Club of Santa Ynez Valley and was named Rotarian of the Year during her year as president. She's also been the winner of many humanitarian awards, including the winner of Santa Barbara's Gutsy Gals You Inspire Me Award in 2013. She was one of the Women of Action honorees at the White House in 2014, Time Now Global Amazing Indian Awardee from the Times of India in 2015, and one of 3 inspiring women of action at World Bank's celebration of International Women's Day in Washington, D.C. in 2016. Please help me welcome past District Governor Deepa Biswas.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to start out by telling Wolf and others that this is getting up at 4 a.m. is way beyond this service above self. Anyway, uh, uh, Wolf wanted me to give you a little background of how and why I got started doing this. Most of you, except I don't know whether Anju was born in this country, but most of you born and brought up here, you remember that your mother telling you, finish the food on your plate because there's starving children in Africa, right? I grew up with my mother telling me, finish the food on your plate because there's starving children outside the window. And they were. And when every day I would leave my parents' compound and go to this fancy school in Calcutta, I would see those children. And as a little child, I would say, when I grow up, I'm going to take care of those children. Anyway, well, that was a pipe dream. I never did anything till I was 60. Somehow or other, 40 didn't bother me, 50 didn't bother me, 60 really bothered me. I said to myself, I had lived on this planet for 60 years, used her resources, and I hadn't done anything to make the planet a better place. So I talked to my family and to my Rotary Club, and I came up with the idea that I will take care of children like that from my childhood. And so I formed an organization called PACE. Universal PACE stands for Promise of Assurance to Children Everywhere. And actually, we had a board of directors. I wanted to do the first school in Mexico because it was easier to travel. But the board decided, since I was from Calcutta and that then Sister Teresa was my teacher, the first one should be in Calcutta. And so I got started as those of you who have traveled to Calcutta know, there are several slum areas in the city. But I found out that when the politicians wanted to look good, they would arbitrarily take the slums away. So since I wanted a permanent solution, I went 45 kilometers from the city and found this village where it was located in South 24 Parganas, which happened to be the biggest hub of human trafficking for all over India. They were bringing children, both boys and girls, from 5 different countries and distributing them to Japan, Korea, Middle East, boys to Middle East for their camel farms, Europe, England, and United States. And I heard the story of a little girl named Java getting sold by her parents out of desperation for $40, but she was for prostitution. She was only 7 years old. And I told myself and the board that that's where we will do the school. And so I had to, these villages were earning less than $1 a day. And the girls were not valued because in India, when you get married, the girl belongs to the in-laws family. And since there are no retirement policy, Providence Fund, the custom is that when you get old, you live with your son and son's family. So they value the son, but not necessarily the girls. They see it as an economic loss. So I use myself, I speak Bengali, so I use myself as an example, and I had to talk the parents into allowing the girls to come to school. So when people see the current campus, they say, oh, we don't have money for all this. Well, I didn't start there. I started in a little shack and I bought some kitchen utensils and managed to talk 25 parents to allow their girls to come to school. Well, that's how I started. But within 6 months, the school became the hub for relief for everything, even in the little huts that we were operating in. Anything that went wrong in the village, they came to us to solve the problem. Some woman's roof blew off, and we fixed it. A little girl was born with hole in her heart. We had city surgeons do free open heart surgery on her. So anyway, within 6 months, we had 85 girls. And from that, it took off. And those of you, Anju can tell you what she saw there. It has really become a model for duplication that's my dream, is to duplicate it anywhere people are. There are a whole lot of human trafficking. People are living in extreme poverty condition. So it would be nice. The next place we want to probably do this is Philippines, because one of the board members who unfortunately passed away from COVID, it was her dream to do one PACE Learning Center in the Philippines. So my message to Rotarians, particularly Rotaractors and young people and young Rotarians, that don't look at the current campus and think that you can't do it. Start, take the first step the way you can, and then please let it grow. It will grow just as it did in Piali. Very fortunate to tell you that all the girls had worms, all kinds of health problems. We feed them 2 meals. One of the way I was able to talk them into sending the girls is that we feed the girls 2 meals a day. And so anyway, it just from there, after a few years, the mother started to ask me, can Mashi means auntie, can you please educate us and give us the skills to add to our family's income? So we started educating them, did vocational skills in behind the auditorium. And thanks to you and the Viddam family, that we now have a separate building to expand. It has been a very successful program. So sum total, the girls are happy. They are excelling in education. They are excelling in, we use art therapy, yoga therapy, etc., to heal their souls. They are really, blossoming into lotus flower. That's what the logo, PACE logo represents, a lotus flower. And I'm very happy to tell you that the villagers are no longer earning $1 a day, because the women are earning. They are now in moderate poverty, earning $5 to $6 a day. So it can be done in a very short time. And with that, I'll let the Viddam family member, Anju, can tell you what she saw there. And thank you very much to your club members for your kind donation to get the building done.
Thank you. I should tell you that Deepa told me that not only is it 4:30 in the morning in California, but she doesn't usually go to bed till 2:30 or 3. So this was quite a challenge for her. So thank you so much. 1 second here. Okay, here are a few slides that are from the school. You can see some of the students here and their stories. They all wear the same uniform. Independence Day celebration. Teachers at the PLC. You can see the campus at the lower right. It's quite a big school now. It's a long way from a one-room shack, basically, that she started this in. Okay, so I'd like to introduce Anju Viddam, Mohan's daughter. She graduated from the Ohio State University. Guess I should use this. She graduated from the Ohio State University with a BS in neuroscience, and then went on to complete her master's in health administration at the University of Minnesota, and has worked at the Wexner Medical Center, the Cleveland Clinic, and UC San Diego Health. Anju developed a service-oriented mindset from a young age that led her to wear many titles in and out of the healthcare sector over the past 8 years. However, her most treasured title has been youngest daughter to Halcyon's founder, Mohan Viddam. Through his influence, Anju learned the importance of living a mission-driven lifestyle where true success comes from combining business and service. It certainly sounds like Anju would make a great Rotarian, don't you think? For the last 3 years, she's taken over the family business as the other half of Halcyon Solutions along with her sister Magana. So I'd like to introduce Anju Viddam.
Oh, thank you all. Thanks for a very warm welcome. We're just, Mom and I are so grateful to be invited here today. So year after year, you guys can hear me well. Year after year, I would see my dad wake up on what for me seemed like random early morning Saturdays to kind of change out of his very infamous red Hollister sweatpants. And come to attend these meetings every morning. And I'm so just excited to be here and honored to kind of see firsthand what inspired him to swap out that loungewear for an actual suit. So for those of you who knew my dad, I'm sure you also remember how abrupt and difficult his passing was. He had so much vitality and was always dreaming of newer and bigger plans for how he could positively impact this world, both through the Rotary Club as well as his company, Halcyon Solutions. So he was just a person that was larger than life, always faced his challenges head on with conviction. At home, he was kind of the typical goofy girl dad, but serious when he needed to be and always friendly and warm to everyone he met. And I know that his absence is felt by all of those whom he has impacted. But his legacy does live on, and as I've grown and shed a little bit of naivety about this world, I have realized how hard it can be to make strong, positive impacts that can leave lasting impressions on people. So in a world that doesn't always seem to have systems in place that have altruism at the forefront, I have come to deeply appreciate his words of advice and his life lessons that he has passed on to us. He would always tell me that to be in service of others is joy and one of the most fulfilling experiences. And to be honest, I still have yet to understand this lesson, but I do know that it is a pillar by which he has stood. So naturally then, it comes as no surprise that my dad found his way to the Dublin Rotary Club, whose purpose is to bring together business leaders and provide humanitarian services and just advance the goodwill around the globe. So Dad pursued many humanitarian projects. As you know, this was his main passion. To quickly name a few, he created a program that provided free software development trainings for US veterans to help them land steady jobs within the IT field. He championed the distribution of LN4 prosthetic hands for those who needed them in India. And every visit, as Wolf mentioned, to his hometown, Hyderabad, he would always distribute clothing to surrounding villages without fail. And here in Dublin, he volunteered at Meals on Wheels, Friends of the Homeless, Dublin Food Pantry, Salvation Army, YMCA, and other such programs. And I might be missing a few here, but honestly, I think at that time I was a teenager who didn't really listen to what he was doing or pay much attention. But one of the most notable ways he exemplified the service above self mentality was through his water purification project in India, which has led us to where we're at today. So I know Wolf already went through that background, but our family was really happy and has been really happy to have found Deepa Auntie and her amazing organization, as we do believe it does align very well with his passion, his values, and with something that he was planning to pursue as one of his many future plans. So I know we're short on time, but I will go through a couple photos from our visit to PLC. This was from the packing distribution every time he would go to India. And this was from the CPW inauguration ceremony as well. And coming to our experience at PLC. So painting a picture, it's kind of straight monsoon season in Kolkata at this point. So it was very rainy, but from the moment we got into the hotel and, Uncle Jayanta helped us get to the actual school, it was just, I think Mom and I just didn't really know what to expect, but it was a very, very special experience. Again, getting there was a bit tough just because I think there was a truck that was blocking the school as well. But by the time we got there, all the girls were just waiting at the front, waiting to welcome us. had umbrellas, and they made all these decorations. And I think all of the decorations and even this decoration over here and the pulley system was all done by the girls. And it was just amazing. I think both of us really were just in awe at how warm everyone was. And Deepa Aunty always did mention to, just come to the school, you'll see what you'll see what it is like. And I truly believe that it was one of the most unique experiences. So this is the plaque that they had for Dad's name. Quick tangent. So on the way here, I was telling my mom, I was like, okay, it's my birthday today, but I don't want to let anyone know and take away from this is Dad's day to, honor him. But as soon as I saw the plaque, I was so happy, and I was like, you can tell them it's my birthday. And I'm celebrating my 31st here too. This is Uncle Jayantha. He was just phenomenal to meet. You can tell he's doing this from the passion of his heart. I think talking to him was one of the highlights for both of us, just hearing his story, hearing why he does this every day in and out, goes through those roads and comes to the school, and he's very, very mission driven. So it was amazing to hear him speak. Some of the girls, I'm not sure what I said here, but spoke a little bit as well. And I believe all of these were made by the girls as well. So you can just see how talented and just passionate they were about what they did. And they also did a welcome dance for us. I don't know if we had any photos of that, but and after 20 minutes of telling them it was my birthday, they got me a cake, which I think is a testament to show how well oiled it is. And, in 20 minutes in this, rain and without knowing, I don't know how they got a cake for me, but it was really, really memorable. And then the girls did a self-tour for Mom and I. So we got to sit in some classrooms, got to feel like a kid again. And it's amazing to hear Deepa Aunty's story, because as you can see, it does not feel like a shack. It's very, very, it's a pretty big school and just so well done. And all the buildings are high quality. It was just phenomenal to get there, to be there. Yeah, I think this is the end of it. But overall, our trip to the school was definitely an unforgettable one. And I know that Mom and I will always have this cherished moment. Also, this whole project and working with Wolf and Ingrid has been a very humbling and rewarding experience for me from start to finish. And I wish that Dad could have met Deepa Aunty and Uncle Jayantha, because I know that they would have definitely built a lot of strong and synergistic relationships together. But our family is just very thankful and happy for all the effort put into this project. And just we're beyond happy and, honored to see that these funds collected were put towards a very worthy endeavor, and that will continue to make lasting positive impacts. And we know that our dad will forever be honored at the PLE Learning Center. So thank you all for having us. We're very grateful to be here to remember his life's work, his energy, his values with you all here today. Thank you.
Let's just take 1 second and ask if there's any questions for Anju before yes, Paige.
Anju, the gardens around the buildings are gorgeous. They're so well maintained. The buildings are really quite handsome. Where does the funding come today to have that facility in such outstanding shape and uniforms for the girls and all the things you're doing?
I think for the funds that we collected, went straight into that one building for the vocational training. But the gardens were maintained. I think that might be a question for Deepa and Dita as well.
There's one I can answer. The garden, that's a kitchen garden. Every plant has a kid who is in charge of taking care of that plant, and all the tomatoes and everything that grows is one thing. She can't hear you.
Auntie, do you want to also add anything on? Because we had a good explanation. But can you also just mention for a second how the school maintains its funding?
Deepa, the question is for you to ask you how the school maintains its funding. You're muted.
Yeah. By doing fundraiser. Unfortunately, we used to have a big Bollywood night major event at which used to net around 45,000 after all expenses. But over the last 3 years, we haven't been able to do it because of COVID. So it is my speaking around the world, and you remembered Sylvia Whitlock, the lady who is responsible for women being admitted. She loves the school. I mean, the girls call me Dida, which means grandma. And Sylvia has gone there so often that she has become Sylvia Dida. And so a couple of other comments I want to add after I, and so Sylvia speaks all over the world, and for speaking fees, both to her and me, if people want to donate, they give it to Pace Universal. So we're just always looking for donors to who will be the girls. A lot of the girls do not have sponsors, so it costs $420 per year per girl. So we try to, Sylvia and myself and other board members trying to get more scholarships, etc. It's just a fundraising. It's a nonprofit. All nonprofits struggle with fundraising, so we are no different. And what I want to tell you is that the school is not only, it's the pristine campus is because if you go outside the compound, there are a lot of litter here, there, and so on. But one time they had some of the outdoor vendors came in with food and they scattered, and they'd never seen me have a temper tantrum. I put the fear of God in them that not a single piece of paper should be out of the place. So that's the reason it's such a pristine campus. And also the girls, we have couple of unique things at the school. We have a very big Interact Club with 68 members. These are we teaching the beneficiaries to learn to give back. Very active, very committed interactors. And the second thing is very unique. In India, you have to take 2 public exams, one at the end of 10th grade and the one at the end of 12th grade. It's done by the state board. And all the students who have taken the exam so far, because quite a few, 50 plus, they all are graduating with A plus cumulative score, which is unheard of in rural school. So it is a really testament to the committed teachers they have. And the other last thing I want to comment is I get all the credit, but it is not me who did this. That gentleman, Jayanta Chatterjee, he comes from a very wealthy family, and I would have liked to have met his parents because he is impeccably honest, honorable man. The First Lady of Honduras, they wanted me to do one in Honduras. First Lady offered me $1 million, and the mayor of the capital city offered 10 acres of land. But guess what? I had to walk away because I couldn't find a joint equivalent. And so if you're going to do international work service, make sure you have somebody like Jayanto taking care of every penny that you donate is taken properly care of. One of my wealthy physician friend from Stockton went there, and Harpreet asked him, Jayanto, I see hospitals named after you, all this, you're obviously quite well off. Why do you do this? Go there so often. And his answer was, I'm paying rent for being born in luxury. So it would not have happened this way without Jayanta.
Thank you for those additional comments, because that adds another whole dimension of light and what is being supported at Pace.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. I'll just wrap up by saying that one of the great honors of being in Rotary is that we really do give to people that we never will meet. And in this case, you have given so much, and your family has given so much. And I will share with you that every year as president, one of my challenges was we do between 25 and 30 projects and different donations, because there's always need, and there's different need, and there's different member interests. So one of the things that's a great challenge is also how to use the continuity of what everything that Rotary is. So that's everyone's sort of thought as they're bringing together projects is how do we use the strength of the members? Like Mohan. Mohan is always one of the examples when people say, well, tell me about Rotary. I say, people make a difference. A member will make a difference. A leader will make a difference. As a club, we make a difference. 25, 30 times probably in a year or financially to different organizations. But then you look at what this really is. It's the strength of the continuity, whether it's the working with each of you members as your own individual passion, the strength of working with the board, the presidents from one to another. It wasn't my presidency. I was just a new member going to international meetings with Claudia and Wolf to understand what an international grant was. And it's that kind of continuity of leadership that we do every Friday morning. So I just wanted to wrap up with saying there's a few things that we really should take a look at, whether it's Deepa's service in California as a district governor, and then everything that she's built, whether it was Paige letting me know what all the different things were that brought together the water project with some of the funding with Mohan and how he went to his business partners, whether it was Wolf year after year after year, staying on the district and staying in touch with everybody to bring all this together. Do you know how easy it would have been for anybody along the way to have let this project just go? But that didn't happen. So what we've done is just as a small memento of the project, we would like to have one of the pictures for you, Anju, to have for the family, that you remember everything that is really good about what happened with this water project and with Mohan's great kindness. We have one project, one picture frame that all the members have signed, Deepa, that we'd like to make sure get in your hands because we feel so strongly the connection has been done between Dublin and the California Club and the India opportunity. And also we have one that we'd like to give to Wolf. Wolf, your leadership and friendship, frankly, has brought all this together across many presidents, across many board meetings, and also across all the members as an inspiration for how we can support great people that are doing wonderful things.
Thank you.
So round of applause and please make sure you have them.
Jean, would you like to wrap up?
Thank you for your support, your club's support. This building was possible only because of the Viddam family and all of you. Thank you so much. And also, I forgot to tell you that all the other buildings, Space Universal paid for it, but this one, they got started. I made the Rotary Club of Calcutta Metropolitan feel guilty. So they did a music festival and raised the other half of the money to build the building.
Thank you, Deepa.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Ingrid and Wolf for organizing this program for us. Great job. And most of all, to again thank Deepa, Anju, and Geeta for spending time with us and reminding us of the power of Rotary for service and how our efforts and the money that we contribute really serve as a multiplier that have a huge impact on a lot of people's lives. So thank you again. Next week, we have an in-service project for my very own blanket. So I hope to see everyone. The closing quote, pardon me, is an African proverb. If you educate a man, you educate an individual. But if you educate a woman, you educate a family and a nation. Have a great week. Thank you.
Grab you little clips. Okay. Don't take the flag down yet.
Okay.
Goodbye, Deepa. Thank you.
Bye. We're shutting down. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Anju. I'm glad you enjoyed your visit there.
Thank you for joining us. Go back to bed.
Hey.